Hey, thanks for checking into Outbuilding. Today we're going to work on a new attachment for the tractor. So tractor's new to us. We got, I think in the previous episode you may have seen, kind of got some kinks worked out, got the 3-point hitch hooked up now, resolved some issues with some lug nuts, and basically have that thing up and running, and we've kind of gone through and used everything. This is a split fire 4003, so it's a chipper and a shredder. There's a couple unique design things I'll explain later when I get this all hooked up. But we're going to use this around our property to manage. We've got a mulch pile here, we've got a mulch pile there, we've got mulch piles all over the place, or slash piles rather, that we want to mulch. And we're going to use that mulch around trees to both keep them hydrated in the summer, but also to suppress some of our weeds, because we've got a lot of invasive weeds we're trying to let the trees overcome. So today I'm going to pull this thing out. I'm going to get it all uncrated. It's been crated really well by the company. It comes in from Canada. I will take it apart, or take the crating apart, put it together and run it through its paces and give you some impressions as I get going. I want to be clear, I bought this full price. I think it was a really good value. I don't represent them in any way, although I think really highly of the company having worked with them. So let's get started. I got to admit, taking the backhoe on and off took a little bit to kind of learn that it's a little bit of a finesse move to position it, to get the pins that hold it on free. But once I kind of got it figured out, it's not too bad to do. And I don't like doing it in the enclosed garage here, but I've got a nice breezy day out, and I'm able to do it fairly quickly. So I wouldn't want to spend too much time in here with the running tractor, but it went pretty quickly. So now I just need to just pass the hydraulics through, since I'm not using the backhoe. Then I just tie up the backhoe hydraulics to one another just to keep them clean. And now the backhoe's separate, so I can pull out and set up the 3-point hitch out in the open with better light. Once I got the tire off and the lug nuts repaired or restored, it was pretty easy to figure out how to get the 3-point hitch on there. So there's a couple pins I pull, and I'll show you here as soon as I can get this out. So there's a cotter pin. I free up this pin down here. And this rod was the rod that was getting stuck before. It's a little sticky today. I'm hoping it wears in a little bit over time, but this is what was giving me fits when I need to get the wheels off. But I think I can kind of put a little bit of grease on that. But once that gets through, then I thread my arm on. And I gotta send it through the other way. I'm gonna grab some grease and grease it first. There it goes. That gets pinned back on with another cotter key. So that's a little bit of a mess to put on, but then the rest of it goes on pretty easily. The upper arms just slide over and have a clip. And then these stays have a pin and a clip. All right, so we got a 2-point hitch. And then the third bit here for the 3-point. There we go, 3-point hitch. As I said, this comes in from Canada, and it's just really well packaged. It's on a pallet that's custom built for it and strapped down. I had it brought to a freight forwarder, and then I was able to go pick it up and then forklift it off here. So I'll pull off the straps that are holding everything on there. PTO's got a clever little stand on it, so I need to grab a square bit and pull that off. So this is a little clever piece that you can put a ball hitch on and then tow a trailer behind this so that I can kind of pull behind and grab mulch. It's all greased up and ready to go. Shaft. They even included a few extra shear bolts, which is nice. And these are extra blades for the cutter, so it's got another set if I need them. And I call them, the gearbox is all loaded and ready to go, so there's not a whole lot to do other than hook it up and use it, which is nice. it seemed like the drive shaft was a little bit short. They had cut it, the PTO shaft, and the manufacturer had cut it, and so I called them and they said it'll work, but they're going to actually send me a new one that's the proper length. I think they assumed because it was a smaller tractor that it would have a smaller set of arms, but they are kind of full-size tractor size arms. So I'm got a little bit less overlap than you'd probably like, but they assured me it would work, it'd be okay. So I'm gonna kit up here and give it a try. So I have the tractor positioned on the wrong side of the mulch pile, but I wanted the output of the chute to put the chips back in a spot that I had prearranged. So in the future, I'll arrange my piles and accommodate that. You can also clock the input chute on the chipper around if I want, if I find myself always wanting a left hand or a right hand orientation. This was my first use, so I started with some simple small stuff and tried different types of input just to see how it worked. It seemed to do fine with fines, bigger, smaller stuff, and I just needed to adjust kind of how much I sent at one point based on the load of the machine. Everything's hooked up, but there is an emergency stop switch that I can wire into the seat for the PTO to sort of shut things off on a remote wire. I haven't hooked that up yet, but I'm going to wait until I get a shop manual to make sure I got the wiring right, because I've got some other stuff I want to do with the wiring on the tractor. Since this was my first use, I just chipped for a while to see what kind of chips it would produce and kind of get a feel for things. It creates a really consistent, small and fine chip that seems like it'll mulch really well. So then with a little test batch under my belt, I went ahead and set a timer for an hour and tried to see how much I could get done in an hour. And again, this is sort of not positioned as well as it could be because I'm going around the tractor or kind of feeding it from the wrong side. It's just how I had it set up. I sort of got the hang of it after an hour, and even though I wasn't positioned very well, I was kind of impressed with how much I was able to mulch up or cut up in that hour. All right, well, this would be a good first practical use. I cleared that pile down there. It's about 11:55 now. I'm going to see how long it takes me to get through this pile of Scotch Broom that I'm going to reuse the mulch to put around some trees. I was clearing an area for trees and planted the trees, and now I'm going to mulch in where I planted. So see how practical this is for that. And clear this stuff out. This stuff, I also have my pole saw here in case I need to trim things up to fit in the hopper. I learned that last time I used it. Well, that was insanely productive. So it's 12:20, and so that took me 25 minutes to wipe that pile out and create a lovely pile of mulch, which I can now use to put around the base of the trees that I just planted. So this chipper shredder is awesome. It's almost like dedicated or designed perfectly for what it is we do. This Scotch Broom is tall, it's thin. This isn't a super powerful tractor, but it's able to run through it. I just have to, throttle the size of the piece I'm putting through there and listen to the load. It bogs down a little bit when you get a really big piece in there, but it works great. Took some time to get this. They make them to order, and I forget, I don't want to quote a time because that time frame may change for them, but they were productive throughout that. They gave me a prediction of when it would be done, and it was very close to that, and communicated well along the way. I actually had switched from a different tractor. I was going to get a larger tractor, but that fell through, and so I ended up with this tractor, and they adjusted things according to that. The only issue I found when I was putting it together was just that PTO shaft was cut, and that may be just sort of a general thing they do, but they were really quick to respond. They assured me that it's okay to sort of use it for now. It's got a very small amount of overlap, and it's just these arms on this tractor are long, and so it sets it out farther, so they're going to give me a full-size shaft to replace that. This is the first sort of practical use. I didn't even think about using this today. I had planned on filming a video and show you the other slash pile that I went through yesterday. But today I was doing work on trees and realized I needed mulch, and it's actually way more effective for me to bring the tractor here and create the mulch where I need it than it is to move it back and forth. And so there's a lesson learned there. But anyway, I'm really pleased with this. I have got some other attachments that I'm going to be hooking up and testing, and I'll go through and explain them from a newbie's perspective. So if you'd like, please subscribe, and I can show you some of those other ones. I've got a flail mower, a land grader, some other tools that I'm going to be using to maintain this roadway and do some other things. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Got a really good day for this today, and I can go mulch now.
Splitfire, thanks for making a great product.